Hello everyone, it's Jessica. Welcome to Tree of India Yoga. Today we are going to cover the most basic breathing technique that you need to know in order to practice yoga. I'm hoping that you started with this video because this video lays the foundation for almost everything else that we're going to do together in our yoga practice. There are two breathing techniques we're going to talk about, and the very first one is called Dirgha Pranayama. Pranayama is another word for breath control or breathing exercises in the yoga tradition, and it's central to how we practice. So it sets the pace for the physical practice. It's our cue to let us know when we're pushing too hard. It's our cue to remind us to utilize all of the body and all of the torso for the breath. If you think about the practice of yoga, we're bringing awareness to the energy that flows in us and through us. And pranayama is the practice of controlling that energy. So prana is the yogic energy in the subtle body, and pranayama or breath is the way that we can, for lack of a better word, manipulate that energy to bring more aliveness into the body, to calm the mind. It can do lots of different things. So Dirgha Pranayama is sometimes also referred to as the three-part breath. And the easiest way that I can explain how to practice Dirgha Pranayama is to think of your torso like a vessel. So the belly would be the bottom of the vessel. We have the rib cage here, that would be the middle, and then this vessel comes all the way up to the collarbones here. So if we're going to breathe and utilize the full capacity of the torso for our breathing, we're going to be filling up from bottom to top. Now, does that literally happen? Not really, but it's something that we can imagine in our minds that gives us an idea of how this breath might feel. So we'll begin by placing the hands on the belly. You can interlace the fingers a little bit. So as you're inhaling, you're going to allow the belly to expand, and the fingers may slide away from each other a little bit. And then as you exhale and the belly deflates, the hands may come together again. So placing the hands on the belly, we'll inhale and expand. And then we're going to let it relax. We'll do that a couple more times. Right now, we're only focusing on the belly. And releasing it with the exhale. You can close your eyes for one more breath. And now we're going to take one hand and let's place it on the rib cage. If you prefer, you can take both hands and maybe gauge here. So what we want to do is breathe now into the hands. So we'll fill up the belly first, like we just did, but then let that air spill up into the rib cage and feel the ribs expand and feel them relax. So we'll take a deep inhale. Three times, two more. And now we'll take that third part. Remember, it's a three-part breath. So we're going to have one hand either on the belly or on the rib cage, and the third part is going to be up here in the chest. Now this is a little bit more difficult to maybe visualize or feel if you're not used to breathing this way. It might feel a little bit awkward. So just do your best, and we will eventually start to be able to expand into the chest as well. So let's try 3 Dirgha Pranayamas, three-part breath, inhaling belly, ribs, and chest. And then exhale. Again, inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Notice how you feel. And then open your eyes. We're just going to add one more thing to this basic breath work, and that is the Ujjayi sound. So Ujjayi means victorious breath. It's a type of pranayama, again, another added breathing exercise. It can be thought of as a way to bring your attention to the sound of the breath. And victorious breath means that we're using this breath to become victorious over the wandering mind. So it takes some concentration in yoga to practice, to be able to progress along the path. Although we must remember progressing is not our goal is simply to practice. But if we're breathing in the traditional way with Dirgha Pranayama and using Ujjayi, it's tradition for a reason. It's because it helps us to focus. It helps keep us concentrated. So Ujjayi has a sound very much, I always used to say in my classes that it sounds like Darth Vader from Star Wars breathing. So if you've ever been to a yoga class and you're wondering why all of the people around you are breathing so loudly, it's not because they're obnoxious. It's not because they want you to hear them. It's because they're focused. It's because they are practicing Dirgha Pranayama with Ujjayi. So Ujjayi is sort of like fogging up a mirror. So if I were to put a hand up in front of my face as if it's a mirror and I want to fog it up, I'm going to breathe the hot air onto this hand. We're doing the same thing with Ujjayi, except with the mouth closed. So it sounds like this. We'll take an inhale. Let me do that again. So notice that I'm not forcing the air out in a powerful burst. I'm elongating the exhale. I'm restricting the back of the throat so as the air passes over it, it creates almost a hissing sound. It can be thought of as an ocean sounding breath. Some people liken it to the sound of ocean waves coming in and out, so you can think of your breath like that if that helps you to stay focused. So as we're breathing Ujjayi Pranayama, we want to let the mind focus on the sound. That means the sound can be as loud or as soft as it needs to be. If you're practicing something that requires more concentration and effort, it's likely that your Ujjayi sound eventually over time is naturally going to get a little bit louder to hold your focus on what you're doing. And that's normal and appropriate. So sometimes at the beginning of practice, I like to begin by choosing the volume of my Ujjayi. So as we're practicing, we're going to elongate the exhale, remember, and we're going to allow the Ujjayi sound to come to a volume that captivates the mind and holds its attention. So let's elongate the spine, move the flesh out from under the sitting bones, and we're going to do 10 Ujjayi Pranayamas, 10 three-part breaths using the Ujjayi sound. So elongate, create space here between the hips and the underarms. Imagine a string attached at the top of your head that's lifting you a little bit taller, and the palms turn upward. We'll let our eyes close and soften the belly. So it's impossible to breathe the Dirgha Pranayama, the three-part breath, if you're holding tension in the belly. So the first thing we want to do is soften that belly without losing our posture. And now we'll start three-part breath with the Ujjayi sound. After your last exhale, release the breath and allow the body to breathe itself, maintaining your posture. Notice whatever there is to notice here in your body, overall energy level. Notice any thoughts that may be present. Simply relax and allow everything to be as it is. Gently open our eyes. So you can see that Ujjayi Pranayama, along with the three-part breath, can be a meditative practice in and of themselves. So notice how you feel. We're ready to move on with our practice or close here. Thank you all for being here. Namaste. Jai Bhagwan.